Hey, what is going on guys, RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Conqueror or the reworked Conqueror for patch 9.4 and go over every single champion that you should now be running this rune on for patch 9.4. So if we start off with 80 carries here, there are a bunch of 80 carries that do very well with Conqueror. I'll have them all up on screen here, but the ones that do build Blade of the Ruined King are the ones that are doing best with it right now. And Blade of the Ruined King, it does allow you to stack Conqueror faster. The Cutlass or the Blade of the Ruined King active does give you a stack of Conqueror, and the champions that do use Blade of the Ruined King, Lucian, Kog'Maw, Ashe, these champions also do have abilities in their kits that allows them to proc Conqueror very quickly. So for example, with Kog'Maw, if you hit the enemy with an EQ ult and you use Blade of the Ruined King, you only need one auto attack and then you automatically will get the 5 stacks of your Conqueror. Lucian, very easy to proc Conqueror as well because of his passive and as well because of his abilities. So those 3 champions are Lucian, Kog'Maw, and Ashe are very good with it in this patch. Now for Ashe, originally earlier in the PBE cycle, she could stack Conqueror with just one use of her Q, but that's no longer the case anymore. Also, you cannot stack Conqueror faster with Rune-ins. I know that was also the case earlier in the PBE cycle, but it no longer stacks faster either. For Draven, Misfortune, Tristana, and Xayah, they all do very well with it because they do have multiple abilities in their kit that they can use to stack up Conqueror faster. Kai'Sa and Twitch don't have super good ways of stacking it up in the early game, but once you do reach the mid to late game teamfight stage, it's just a very strong rune on them. You're going to be able to stack it up pretty quickly once you do reach that stage, and the bonus healing you get on Kai'Sa, like from her abilities, from her autos, it's going to be really strong. The bonus AD as well, and then for Twitch, like when you got your AoE ultimate going, the bonus healing from that is going to be really good. So those 2 champions, they can still run different runes for this patch. Like you can still run the Fleet Footwork on Twitch if you want to have a stronger early game, but Conqueror is still a good option on those 280 carries. Alright, so if we head over to the mid lane now, there's a bunch of mid laners that are very good with Conqueror right now. Cassiopeia, really good with Conqueror. It's just a great rune on her because she's a champion who can spam out abilities very quickly, get her stacks of Conqueror going, and it's just going to be really nice on her pretty much throughout all stages of the game. And then Sylas, another champion that does very well at stacking Conqueror quickly. He's got multiple abilities in his kit that he can just spam out and look to get the Conqueror stack. So you're going to be at 5 stacks a lot of the time with Sylas, which just gives you really good use out of the new Conqueror rune. Now Swain's a pretty interesting one with the new Conqueror. It's not so much going to make his laning phase any stronger, it's more so when you reach the mid to late game teamfight stage, you're going to be able to get your stacks up pretty quickly in teamfights with Swain if you hit all your abilities, and then your ultimate, when it's running, it's going to keep the 5 stacks up consistently, so you're going to be able to get a lot of healing out, a lot of true damage, and a lot of just consistent damage out from the Conqueror rune once you reach the mid to late game. Now Azir is a pick that looks to be coming back in this patch. He got a direct buff in this patch, and then Conqueror's doing super good on him here for 9.4, so Azir might actually be like a B/A tier pick right now for patch 9.4 for solo queue, which is something that he hasn't been for multiple patches. I think Yasuo there, pretty self-explanatory. He's been good with Conqueror previous patches. He's still good with Conqueror right now. Jace is one that is pretty good with Conqueror for this patch. He is a champion that can stack it up pretty quickly with his multiple abilities and get the 5 stacks going pretty fast. Katarina is an interesting one there. Again, kind of like Swain, it's not so much like for the laning phase. You're not really going to be able to find your 5 stacks in the laning phase a ton, but once you do reach the mid to late game teamfight stage, because Katarina, she's going to be jumping around in teamfights, using a ton of abilities, getting her reset, she's going to be able to keep those 5 stacks up pretty consistently and just get a lot of good use out of Conqueror in mid to late game fights. Aurelion Sol might actually be one of the strongest Conqueror users for this patch. He can stack up Conqueror with every tick of his W, which makes it so he can get 5 stacks extremely quickly. He's going to be able to consistently keep the 5 stacks as well because of his consistent damage, so I think that Aurelion Sol definitely an underrated pick right now for this patch with the new Conqueror. Now, Rise is a pick that you can run Conqueror on, however, Phase Rush is a rune that just synergizes super well with Rise, and it does give him a lot more survivability, which, because he is a short-range mage and because he doesn't have a gap closer, the Phase Rush is just a super good rune on him. So if you're feeling risky, if you just want that extra damage from Conqueror, then you can run it on him. It's not a bad option, but the Phase Rush is still a little bit better just due to the added survivability it does give for Rise. And then for Corki, he's a champion that can stack the Conqueror very quickly. QE ult gives you 3 instant stacks of Conqueror and then 2 auto attacks, so you're going to be able to stack that up very quickly and get a lot of good use out of Conqueror for Corki. So moving into the jungle now, a lot of really good picks with Conqueror for this patch. A lot of these junglers here can do a lot of consistent damage. You're not going to find a lot of burst damage junglers that are doing super good with Conqueror. If a jungler can do a lot of consistent damage, like your Master Yi, your Udyr, your Jax, then they're going to do very well with Conqueror, and that's the case so far in this patch. So those 3 champions very good with Conqueror right now. You also have picks like your Rengar, your Rek'Sai, your Shyvana, all doing very well with Conqueror. Those champions can proc it very quickly. Like in the early game when you're skirmishing, they all have like 3 abilities in their kit that they can use to very quickly proc the Conqueror, so you can just get it up to 5 stacks on them very, very fast. For Graves there as well, he can proc it pretty quickly, and he's a jungler that does do quite a bit of consistent damage, so it just really helps out with his skirmishing in the early game. Kindred might now have her just standalone best keystone for 9.4. In previous patches, Kindred players would run a ton of different things on her, stuff like Hail of Blaze, Lethal Tempo, Press the Attack, but with these Conqueror changes, it does very well on Kindred. The reason for it is because she's got so many abilities that she can use to just proc it pretty much instantly, get the 5 stacks, EWQ, auto attack, and then 1 more auto attack. You're gonna get your 5 stacks, so you're almost instantly gonna be able to proc the Conqueror, and you're gonna find really good use out of it throughout the game. And then for Kayn for 9.4, Red Kayn with Conqueror is just going to be insanely strong. I know that in previous patches, a lot of Kayn players did actually run Conqueror, but now for 9.4, I think all Kayn players should be running Conqueror. It just gives him a ton more damage. It allows him to go for like his Warrior Black Cleaver, and then he can go full tank after that, and he can still deal a ton of consistent damage throughout team fights because of the Conqueror. So you're just going to be super tanky on Kayn in this patch, and you're still going to be able to pump out a ton of damage. And then for Xin Zhao, Hail of Blades is still a great rune on him. Conqueror is also doing very good on him for 9.4, so I think a lot of it does come down to personal preference and what you do prefer on Xin Zhao. And then if we move over to the top lane now, this is the role that has a ton of different champions that can do extremely well with Conqueror. The first one here is Urgot, and Urgot is one of the best users of Conqueror for this patch because, kind of similar to Aurelion Sol, he can stack Conqueror up with 1 ability, that being his W. Every tick of his W gives him a stack of Conqueror, so you stack that to 5 in like 1 or 2 seconds just very quickly on Urgot. So I would definitely be looking to swap over to Conqueror on this patch or in this patch for Urgot instead of using the Unsealed Spellbook. Most players are still using Unsealed Spellbook right now on Urgot, but I would definitely make the swap over to Conqueror. And then a lot of the rest of the picks here did do very well with Conqueror in previous patches, so picks like Yasuo, Riven, Yorick, all still very good with Conqueror for 9.4. A few other notables here that are kind of sleeper OP with Conqueror and weren't super good with it in previous patches. Nasus right now, I know that in previous patches, some players did run it on him, but a lot of players would run Grasp. The new Conqueror just suits Nasus really well because it's very easy to stack for Nasus. He's got his W, E, Q, which gives him 3 stacks super quickly, and then especially once he's level 6, he's gonna be able to stack that up super quickly, and then the added lifesteal you get, the added true damage, just makes Nasus insanely good there in the 1v1. For Alawi, she is a champion that is now best with Conqueror for 9.4. Whenever you do land your E on the opponent and you auto attack your E, you are going to be getting a stack of Conqueror, so it allows her to stack it up pretty quickly in the laning phase there, and it does allow her to just be even stronger in the 1v1. The added healing there from the new Conqueror just works very nice for Alawi. Mordekaiser is also a newcomer with Conqueror for this patch, especially once you do hit level 6, you're gonna get instant 5 stacks with Mordekaiser if you use your full combo on the opponent, so the added true damage there ticking from your ultimate, just the added healing is really nice for Mordekaiser. And then for Olaf, definitely a pretty sleeper OP pick with the new Conqueror. The stats that the new Conqueror give are basically perfect for Olaf. He's a champion that already does have lifesteal in his kit, already does have true damage, and when you give him more of that, it's just gonna make his early game even stronger, and his laning phase right now with the new Conqueror is just extremely good, so he's gonna be able to get the stacks of Conqueror pretty quickly, 2 instant stacks with his Q and his E. He's got the attack speed steroid with his W, so he's gonna stack it up pretty fast, and then once he does get the 5 stacks, it's going to be very hard to beat Olaf in a duel in the early game for 9.4. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I think that was around like 43 champions that are very good with Conqueror for patch 9.4. So the rune seems a little bit strong right now, might get nerfed in the coming patches here, but there are a lot of champions you can use it on for this patch. So make sure you are doing that for 9.4. So with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching. Have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.